Sorry.
Yeah, hi.
Hello, everyone. I'm Pia Renata. Welcome to Rappler Talk. Our guest today is Tim Orbos, the national convener for Ikaw Muna Pilipinas, a volunteer organization who wants Mayor Isko Moreno to run for president. Tim, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Pia. Thank you for inviting me to your show. And hello also to everyone listening to your program.
Okay, so siguro Tim, we can go first to something to do with your background. Like, I want to know also your history behind this movement, how you got into this. So maybe we can talk about you first. You were a Metro Manila Development Authority official since the Aquino administration, and then you became MNDA General Manager during naman the Duterte administration. And then at one point, you became Undersecretary under the Department of Transportation. Then in October 2018, you filed candidacy to run
Yep.
for congressman in Pangasinan, and you ran under PDP Laban, President Duterte's political party. So we're all
Yes.
curious to know now, di ba, parang a new political iteration, you're backing the possible presidential bid of Mayor Isko Moreno. So can you tell us what happened there? How did that happen, that transition?
So I think everyone, maybe me, and talking about people in general, we're always looking for a leadership that will bring us to a better state of life. No? And especially, ako may anak ako, Pia, and I always talk about the next generation, what we can do for the next generation. Hence, the search for a better future is just a natural course of anyone to take. So yes, I was part of this administration, and I thought that this would be a good vehicle for us to take us to the next step. But then again, things happen, and then there are things that you don't agree with, and things that you thought were there, wala naman pala. Not to blame anyone, because I myself believed in that, and unfortunately it did not happen. But what is important is that we move forward. Let's not look backward and look forward, and we look for what could be the best vehicle to take us on this journey to the betterment of our society. So, nandito ako ngayon. I have no excuses. I was part of that administration, of this administration. But I think it is also incumbent on us to move forward and seek a better kind of leadership that will take, especially now, Pia, if I may, no, probably the best thing that we can say about this pandemic is that we realize things that we did not realize before. Grabe, ang daming the worst situation that we ever had since World War II. Daming namamatay, very close to our hearts. And then we hear all these things, all this mess what can we do, di ba? Except that we try to focus on 2022. Ang hirap, all throughout the years that I was in this administration, madaming ang nagawang tama, pero madami rin talaga na nasasaktan ka that you were just accepting. Parang then you realize that you needed to do something about it, no? And then I think that this is where we are right now, and in our own little way, I'm now a private citizen. Together with some friends of mine, we decided to put up this group called I Am Pilipinas, or Ikaw Muna Pilipinas. The thing being that politicians always talk about ako, tayo. No, I think what we should do now is talk about others. Let's talk about others. Sabi nga ng mga Jesuits, man for others. Let's do it this way. And I think, yes, we would like Mayor Moreno to run. We believe in what he has. Hindi ko siya kilala, Pia. When I started, when we put up this movement, hindi ko po siya kilala. I met him probably once in passing when I was at the DOTR. He was head of the North Rail, and that was it. But then, people talk about him, then you begin to listen, then you begin to inquire the kind of leadership he had in Manila. And then you realize that it's true. And he's a man of action. He does things with what he has. He doesn't complain. He just moves forward. But I think his greatest contribution to the Manileños is that napaniwala ng mga Manileños sa sarili nila. And then that is something that we need right now in this kind of harsh and hostile environment we find ourselves in. Ang hirap ng buhay, bagsak yung tao, hindi na naniniwala sa sarili ng lakas. I think we need somebody to tell us, no, kaya natin ito, hawak kamay, sama-sama tayo. Forget about, isa pa ang sasakit na naririnig natin about towards each other. I think let's stop that. Let's stop the hurt, and let's move forward. And we need somebody like Mayor Isko to lead us into such a state, so that we can pass it on to the next generation.
So, ano yung tipping point? If you could identify one issue where you felt it's time to withdraw your support from the current administration and switch sides, what would be this issue?
I don't think there's one tipping point. It's a series of things that happen, like what I said a while ago. You'll begin to realize na tinatanggap mo na lang. Yes, may madami rin naman nagawa na tama, no? But then again, there were things na very basic na alam mong masakit pero nilulunok mo. And then you realize na you have to do something about it. No? Decency, I think, is key to all of this. We became less decent towards each other and towards society in general, na dapat man lang this decency and respect must be given towards one another. You find yourself natatawa na lang to jokes that you're not supposed to even consider as respectable. You find yourself accepting what's happening, and then regardless of whoever is doing all this shenanigans and corruption and whatever that yung natatamaan yung ano mo, yung kaibuturan mo, then why? Then you suddenly realize that you cannot be part of this. Hindi po yun ang tinuro sa atin. Yun. Ang hirap na nga ng buhay, and we cannot even respect each other. I think tipping point, Pia, it happened tuloy-tuloy until it dawns on you that, hey, I mean, if it's going to continue for another 6 years, ibang usapan na yun. We can let go of this 6 years. Sabihin natin, it's a learning process. We learn from it, we move from it. But to move again for another 6 years, I'm sorry to say, wag naman ho sana. And decency must come from the people who told us before na magbabago. Sila ang magiging instrument ng pagbabago. And I believe that there are a lot of good people within this administration who share the same thing. No, let's give it to the president. Tama na po, nagsilbi na po kayo. Salamat po sa ginawa ninyo, pero siguro naman po let's move on. Let's give it to another kind of leadership that is needed in this day and age of the pandemic. So, yun lang, Pia. Not one single revelatory moment, as you call it, no, eureka moment, as they may say it, pero tuloy-tuloy na nararamdaman mo na unless nasabihin mo na sa sarili mo, tama na, walang mangyayari sa'yo, babagsak ka na lang ng babagsak.
Sige. So, Tim, dito naman tayo sa Ikaw Muna Pilipinas, I Am Pilipinas. Can you tell us how many members you have now? How many chapters nationwide?
We started the movement some 2 months ago, 3 months ago. And yes, as I mentioned, and yun naman talagang focus ng I Am Pilipinas was to convince Mayor Isko to run for 2022 for the highest office of this republic. We are also cognizant of the fact that there are other candidates and worthwhile candidates at that. But we wanted to take the discourse of candidacy of those seeking the office to have a more detailed program of leadership that they can present to the people. We saw that in Mayor Isko. Nakita na namin paano niya nilatag yung kanyang ginawa sa Maynila, at nakikita namin na ito rin ang gagawin niya sa ating bansa once he steps in. No? So nakita namin yan, and that's why we were convincing him. But we also wanted to see and to push the envelope with other candidates. Baka naman ho pag-usapan na natin, tama na ho yung politika. Makita nyo yung programa nyo, tell us, what will you do with the housing? What will you do with this pandemic? Paano yung walang trabaho? Yun, napakita ni Mayor Isko in some shape or form during his candidacy, during his 2 years, and then also his program of governance that he is that he has espoused all throughout these 2 years. So yes, we want him to run, but at the same time, we would like to push the envelope with other candidates. Pakito niya naman yung programa niyo, wag ng politika. If ever 2022 is going to be remembered, it's not going to be an election of politicians, but election that is given light by the people who are supposed to be served by these politicians.
So how many members do you have sa IM
Oh,
Pilipinas?
okay. Yes. Good question. We started, apat kami, magkakaibigan lang, ano, all private citizens. Ang bilis. Right now, in fact, this morning, anyway, ang dami na po namin. Ang dami na. And we're so glad, we're so happy of the response of people from all walks of life, from all regions in the country, even abroad, mga overseas workers. Today, we just launched an affiliate of IM Pilipinas. They call themselves Isko National Northern Alliance, or INA, which is a group of Ilocanos, no, of what they call the Solid North, pushing Isko for his brand of leadership. So madami na po tayo. I cannot. I lost count. But I guess that's something good in a way. But yes, it's multiplying, and we're thankful. We're thankful to our Lord for giving us this direction. I think if it's something that is good, then it's there.
Would you say mga 1,000 or around that number? Hundreds?
No. Sorry, P. I will not to boast, but our one organization alone is well, we're hitting close to. Ang hirap kasi magsabi, baka sabihin nila, I'm just picking numbers left and right, but siguro talking about the entire Philippines, we've covered something like 3/4 already, and and these are not politicians, so these are sectoral members of IM Pilipinas. IM Pilipinas is not just one group. It's a coalition of many groups representing various interests, but bounded by a common ground to look to have a better future for all of us, with a national leadership that we feel can take us there. And in this case, si Isko Moreno.
So in terms na lang of groups or chapters that are under IM Pilipinas, can you give a number? So we have an idea.
Yeah, okay.
The scope eh.
Naku, alam mo kasi everyday nagpapalit, no? But siguro roughly I would say 100 or a little over 100 at this point in time. And it's not just one. It's not just the number of affiliates, but rather take a look at let's say the lawyers group for Isko that was put up by a group of lawyers thinking that there is a need talaga to cover the legal ground of a possible campaign of Yorme. Immediately, that's about 200 lawyers in place already, and in fact, it's we're moving 24/7 to accommodate all the volunteers that are coming in. So the response is what inspires us to move forward. There's lack of resources. We're not the administration. There's people calling us what we need and all of that, and the response is really overwhelming. But I think that is what is pushing us also, and I think when there's something good, then this is a good sign of it.
Where are you getting your funding for IM Pilipinas, or any businessmen backing it at this point?
That's a good question. This morning I was with a group of the founders of Isko QC, no? And they just approached us, sabi nila, gusto namin magkaroon ng movement din dito sa QC. In fact, sabi ko nga sa kanila, baka walang politika dito kung pwede lang and then they agreed. This is going to be just for the campaign of Yorme. So, talking about funding, sabi namin sa kanila, well, we can give you t-shirts and all of that, but hindi namin kaya i-sustain yung gagawin ninyo. Kasi nag-present sila sa amin, pati may billboard, merong national headquarters, kompleto sila in all precincts. Sabi namin, hindi namin kakayanin yan. And they said, we'll take care of it. So, there is no one big funder. In fact, there is no funder for IM Pilipinas. It just keeps coming when we need it. We started with just us doing it ourselves, and people taking care of even the printer, taking care of, whatever we need. So, as they say, darating din naman yung grasya pag tama yung ginagawa mo. So, that enlightens us. But yes, there are those committing to help once Yorme so decides, and we're looking forward to that as well.
Okay, let's talk about Isko. So, he and President Duterte are actually pretty similar in many aspects, no? Both of them started in local government and they were aspiring or could be running for a national post that's the highest national post in the land. And in their own ways, may populist politics sila in terms of messaging, in terms of backstory, or at least what they're trying to project is their image. So, two mayors, Mayor Moreno, Mayor Duterte, I mean, recently we've been seeing them, having like this anonymous back and forth about pandemic response. What do you think makes Isko the better politician, the better leader?
That's this is my personal take on this. I think the constituency has also evolved to look for a leadership that is unifying, a leadership that listens, a leadership that is on ground, a leadership that would rather negate controversies or criticisms or even go into that. Kumbaga, sa Tagalog, tama na po yung sakitan, tama na yung masasakit na salita. Solusyon na lang po ang hinahanap natin. Wala nang bintangan, move forward. I think that's what we found in Isko, unifying brand of leadership that we need right now. And maybe during the time when President Duterte stepped in, and I was even part of that worked at that time, but at this point in time, mukhang hindi yan po ang kailangan natin. Hindi na sa dami na nating nararamdaman na sakit sa ating buhay, mahirap na na makatanggap pa tayo ng masasakit na salita. So I think that's why Mayor Isko resonates sa lahat ngayon, especially sa kabataan, na talaga in this pandemic, hindi na rin nila alam ang gagawin nila. We take care of ourselves as a leader. We take care of our constituencies as a leader. But at the same time, we allow our constituents to believe that they can take care of themselves in order for us to take care of our country. That's Mayor Isko.
But over the last few days, we've also seen Mayor Moreno shoot back at the government, even criticizing presidential spokesman Harry Roque, and then sinasabi pa nga niya, bingi ang gobyerno. And basta marami siyang mga very sharp words. So how would you put that in context then? Since you're saying that you want someone unifying, someone that who doesn't maybe estrange certain sectors of society, do you think Isko Moreno will not also, put out his own aggressive propaganda or his own ways of responding that could actually estrange or alienate certain people, turn them off? I mean, does that mean that he'll stay safe?
Hindi naman, Pia. But that's that's a natural reaction. Even I had to say something about Harry Roque, di ba? Ang dami na nga you would criticize, he would criticize it as a political act, yung pagtira doon sa face shield and then face mask while people are dying, binabanggit yung gamot. No, I think it's a natural reaction, and we need somebody who's natural and act naturally. But then again, it's a lot different from yung araw-araw na lang minumura ka, pinapagalitan ka. Hindi ba saan pupunta yon? Alam niyo po, we are a decent lot. Filipinos, they know how to be resilient. Mabilis din magpatawag ng Pilipino, pero nasasaktan din naman po tayo. And I think baka hindi natin nare-realize yun na baka Pilipino bugbog na. And yes, rightly so. We fight back if we need to. But it is not going to be our end goal. Our end goal is to move forward. Fighting back is just a reaction for us to move forward.
Okay. So enough about Duterte, Isko. Let's move on to candidates who might be battling with Mayor Isko for the presidential post. And hindi pa siya nagde-declare, but you want him to run for president. And we know who the other possible presidential candidates are. And siguro I'll just cite a Pulse Asia survey that was conducted in June this year. And Mayor Isko has pretty decent numbers in Metro Manila. Like, he was 23%, beating Sara Duterte. And sa balance of Luzon naman, 15%. But he trails behind Sara in Visayas and Mindanao. So Visayas, Sara was scoring 30%. Isko only had 15%, half of that. Mindanao, Sara won by a huge margin, 62%, while Isko only garnered 6% of the respondents' pick. So, siguro as someone who is currently, touching base with volunteers in different parts of the country, how has it been like selling Isko to people in the Visayas and Mindanao? I mean, do they know who he is and do they like him?
Well, tama yung sinabi mo. Balance of Luzon, Metro Manila, he's very strong. Visayas, I think people do not realize that his mother comes from Visayas, and that one. When people find out, especially in the Visayas, that resonates with them. So it's really a matter of cutting across all the media noise and telling people that, hey, you know, Mayor Isko is here. The question is, people are asking, tatakbo ba siya? And that is something that he should answer. But in the meantime, while there is no answer on such, the thing is to tell him who he is, to tell people who he is, and this is where we are. And when people find out what he is, what his life has been, despite the struggles he may have, which is similar to a lot of people, and then what he has done to move forward, then nagkakaroon ng relationship, ng closeness, na-identify nila yung sarili nila. So that is a task that we have on hand right now. But see, there's two things moving. While we're doing that, people are in a quagmire. Alam nila yung problema ngayon, alam nila yung nangyayari, alam nila yung hirap, saan nanggagaling yung hirap, paano sila pinapahirapan. So there are two messages that are cutting across all across the country. It's a message of despair, the present despair, whoever may be blamed for that, but it's there. But also we're giving them a message of hope in the persona of somebody like Isko Moreno. So, that election is what, 7 months away? That is the challenge right now. The message of hope as against the message that is there right now of hopelessness and despair, but will be overcome by a brand named Moreno when he comes in. So yun, you mentioned, Pia, about other candidates. With all due respect to them, and I know that they mean well, ganun naman ho talaga, no? And we will give them the benefit of the doubt. Ano yan when it's about capturing the minds and hearts of the people. And in fact, sabi ko nga, if i-compare lang sana, we know the strength of this administration, sana mag-unify na lang din ang mga nasa other side. I don't like to call them even opposition because what's an opposition, di ba? We're not fighting the administration. We just want to make sure that the next administration will be really for us. So sana sama na lang po tayong lahat to support a candidate that can fight it out with whoever the administration or this presidency will support.
Yung IM Pilipinas ba wants a particular person to be Mayor Moreno's running mate? Anyone specific?
I think that is something that should be given to Mayor Isko, his decision. We respect that, and whoever, in case he does decide to run for president, and therefore he needs to decide his running mate, then we will support the running mate in so much as we also respect and support Mayor Isko. So hindi po namin papakialaman yan kung sino pong gusto niya. Kung sakaling mag-decide po siya, nandun po kami to support him as well.
There are some people in the non-administration camps who, di ba yung call nga to unify candidates, who would actually call on Mayor Isko to slide down to VP so that Vice President Lani Robredo can run as president and gusto nila sila daw mag-tandem. What does IM Pilipinas think about that? Why not VP Lani?
Let me put it this way, Pia. IM Pilipinas is pushing Mayor Isko to run for president. But we are also, as I mentioned a while ago, we would like to see or push the envelope for other candidates to come out with a program of government that will resolve our problems, our present problems, and really try to negate or reduce the problems that will come in the succeeding years. So, but why not? Let's say support Mayor Vice President Leni or Senator Lacson. Ang ano po namin sa IM Pilipinas is really si Mayor Isko Moreno. We see that kind of not to diminish whatever work or good deeds that VP Lenny has done, or Senator Manny Pacquiao or Senator Lacson. But we feel that the kind of leadership, the kind of traits that he has in his leadership is what we need right now. Yun po eh. Parang ano yun eh, parang parang putahe. Ang kailangan po natin yung putahe ng Maynila, hindi po yung putahe ng Vice President or ni Senator Lacson right now. Manila is the microcosm of our country. Nagpunta po tayo sa Maynila lahat, katulad po kami, galing kami Pangasinan. Now we put our hopes in trying to seek a better future in the metropolis. Mayor Isko's parents, ganun din, no? And then nakita mo yan, it's a melting pot of many things. So in a way, it symbolizes what the Philippines is right now. We need to, be together, unify, try to find the commonalities instead of differences, move forward, and like everyone else who went to Manila, find a better future by being together. So yun, that is the motto of the objective of Hayang Pilipinas. Mayor Isko Moreno for President 2022. Having said that, we respect also the other candidates, and we would like to see their program of government. At the end of the day, we have not yet heard Mayor Isko say yes to our call. So then maybe a program of governance by the other candidates would come in handy if in case he decides not to pursue what we are asking him to pursue.
Last two questions, Tim. The campaign season this year or next year will be very much affected by the pandemic, and we expect limited or at least more regulated face-to-face campaign sorties, maybe less motorcades, physical sorties. You lead Isko volunteers now. How important do you think volunteer networks will be during a pandemic campaign season?
Oh, very important. And we are talking here of digital volunteers, no? Campaigning right now, this 2022, it's more on one-on-one, very personal. You can't do a big gathering, you can do a big event. At the same time, you go digital. No? So those two things. So nakikita naman namin na maganda yung resonance ni Mayor Isko on those two fronts. And for us, that's something good kasi limited resources that we have. We're not the administration that can carry a big crowd, let's say in a big plaza or in a big event somewhere. Mas maganda na ito. At least face-to-face digitally, tell it as it is. Pakita mo yung talaga. Then people are maganda sa digital, tanggalin mo na yung lahat ng mga fake news and all of that. Then people begin to look at it and criticize things as they are. So nagiging more analytical ang tao in such regard. So I think it will work for us, the limitations of this campaign.
So na-mention mo nga, Tim, na it will be more of an air war than a ground war. So what does this mean for your volunteers? I mean, what will they have to do? What are they expected to do in case mangyari nga yung presidential bid ni Mayor Isko and you're asked to, for example, help with the campaign? I mean, how will volunteers be able to help if it's an air war? What will they do? Will you, for example, be guilty of, alam mo naman in the last campaign season, ba yung fake news, yung trolling, yung maraming mga threats online and online bullying? How will you avoid this time around if the presidential bid pushes through?
No, first of all, I think the very nature of Mayor Isko and even of our group, we won't go into that. Hindi kami pupunta sa ganung labanan. We will go on the positive side. Maybe defend ourselves, but also do an offensive by telling the positive side of our campaign and of his persona, his kind of leadership. Alam mo, Pia, there's a group, nagulat nga kami, mga sila, IT experts in their own field of expertise. Iba kasi yan, cybersecurity, digital media platforms. They volunteered. Talaga sabi nila, kami na magbubuo ng digital front. And of course, they're not exclusive. Madami naman kasi volunteers as they are. Pero nagulat kami dun sa kanilang sabi nila, we're calling on all mga dyan, mga naglalaro ng games. Matanda na ako, so hindi ko alam even what they're talking about. So mga mga naglalaro ng mga Mobile Legends or what have you, nasa internet cafes. And yet, sabi nila, we will man the front, the digital front for Mayor Yorme, Mayor Isko. So nakakaganda eh. And I think we have all these things. A lot of people from the advertising world, digital advertising, tutulong din. No? So makikita mo na ano talaga, one good thing. No? I think people, especially the young people, are very much concerned about their future. They worry about their future, yes. Maybe kasalanan naming matatanda for giving us that kind of future to take. But it is incumbent upon them. They take it upon themselves to do something about their future, and they're doing it right now. And we're very thankful that they're responding.
Yeah, with that, I think that we can all say now that a lot of the new registrants for the elections are actually young people. So it will be an election, I think, that will also be partly determined by millennials, by the youth, especially since the pandemic really affects their future. So we at Rappler will be really closely watching, right, the elections this year, and the best of luck to your group. Kasi kung mag-declare man si Mayor Isko, diba, then you have a very exciting year ahead of you. So best of luck on that front.
Thank you, Pia. And really, let's not lose hope. I mean, mabigat sa atin lahat ito nangyayari. And it's easy to be in despair and then feel bad and then, and say to yourself na papaano na. Let's not lose hope kasi ano naman tayo. Alam natin na babangon tayo and we will do what we need to do. We will really fight for what we have to have, not for ourselves but for our future. So sige lang po, I think we're on the right track as a nation. Mahirap man ito. I think we will do well in 2022 by electing the kind of leader that we need. In this case kami, syempre, we want Isko Moreno. Para sa atin po yan. So yes, and then at the end of the day, we need a God-centered leadership. And that is, I think, Mayor Isko has already said many times. But talagang Diyos po bahala sa atin sa susunod na taon.
Thank you, Tim, for joining us here at Rappler Talk. And to our viewers, thank you for watching. Again, I'm Pia Renata. See you next time.